Hello and welcome to this episode of Nick of Time. Now, we're going to discuss a lot more about Tom Thibodeau and his firing from the Knicks. Um, Tomorrow, I think, tomorrow, me and Mr. Frank Arania, will be talking about, the rumors, and then we'll also be talking about Tom Thibodeau as well, and not Tom Thibodeau, but what the coaches could be that they could go out and get, the Knicks could go out and get. But today, I kind of want to put a bow on this because I've been sleeping on this, and I think this is my best take right now and I have a bunch of notes, my best notes I could put out because I have been able to take all the emotion out of it, and at the shock of the firing right after school, I was driving back, and just the shock of it was shocking, but I mean it wasn't at the same time, which is why it's kind of a weird move, but I can put a bow on this. And I want to say, the media, man, why are you being so inconsistent? This is weird because the same media that's being like yelling at the top of their lungs of why Thibodeau should be a Knick still was the same people a few months ago that are saying he should be playing his players. I mean, he shouldn't be playing his players as much minutes. He should be, you know, not playing Josh Hart 45 minutes, not playing Jalen Brunson all these minutes because he's going to get him hurt like Derrick Rose. Not saying I believe that, but that's what they've been saying. And whoa, I mean, Jalen Brunson's going to end up like the next Derrick Rose if he keeps playing 48 minutes per game. Or, Mikal Bridges. Why? We're complaining about why is he playing so many minutes? And I mean, media's complaining why, but why are the guys playing so many minutes? And Thibodeau's a guy that plays a bunch of minutes now. It isn't sustainable. But now when he's actually fired, these guys are going crazy about why it's a bad move. So you got to stick on one point. That's my kind of gripe with this is you got to stick on one point. And if you want to say, okay, this is a terrible move, terrible firing by the Knicks, and it's fine, but you got to also discredit what you've said before about how Tom Thibodeau is ruining this basketball team by playing Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Anunoby, whatever. Back then, it's been Julius Randle, Isaiah Hart, 45 something minutes. You got to discredit those takes. You got to be like, look, I was wrong there. But no, they're not because they're going to try to hedge both takes, which you can't do. That's my one gripe. Thibodeau has never maxed at a ceiling of any NBA team he has been, and let's be honest. This says thank you, Tom Thibodeau. Love him, respect the hell out of him. I mean, if there was an interview with me and him, I would love to talk to him. He's a great basketball mind. I have no thought and doubt about that. I mean, if there's a team that really is done kind of tanking and they don't think that works anymore and they want to get those fans in seats, butts and seats. I mean, still, New York's always going to get butts and seats. But if it's a team that wants to get butts and seats, wants to win, which winning puts butts and seats, if there's a team that really wants to put butts and seats, then, Thibodeau's a coach he'll get your team up and running and a really progressive timeline, which some teams definitely do need. So I respect him from that point. He's one of the most hardworking coaches. His work ethic is out of this world, which is why I respect the hell out of him because his work ethic is amazing. And you respect that because you know what you're getting if you're Leon Rose by signing Tom Thibodeau or giving him that coaching contract. You know what you're going to get. Hard worker, a respected coach, a guy that's going to push your players. No minutes, but also in like the grand scheme of things, he's going to try to get the most out of, the guys. I mean, look at DiVincenzo last season compared to this season. He got so much out of DiVincenzo. I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein, I mean, you knew the regression there because he's on a team that's way more stacked than the Knicks were. I mean, maybe you could kind of, but he was getting more minutes with the Knicks and going to show more because of the injuries. But now he's with the Thunder, fully healthy, and that team is amazing. We'll talk about that in the next Jack to Being Frank podcast about how they are amazing basketball team and also how they lost game one. But you see that team with Isaiah Hartenstein, but you also see the Knicks, and you see how much Thibodeau got out of DiVincenzo, how he got out of Isaiah Hartenstein, how he got out of Julius Randle, man. He's the reason Julius Randle's an all-star. There's a reason Julius Randle has that trade value to go get you quality Towns. He got the most out of Quickly. I mean, look at what Quickly's doing now. Nothing. Yes, Obi Toppin. He's had some mistakes with Obi Toppin. he didn't get the most out of that. And now look at what he's doing. Quitting Grimes. He's a very good basketball player. But again, he's had some nicks where it's like he pushed quickly to the best he could possibly be. And look at him now. Injured, not really giving the Raptors what they really signed him to get. RJ Barrett, he's a very solid player. But, Randall, the New York season, I don't think he's ever going to get back. He's never going to be that guy ever again. That's the credit to the head coach, DiVincenzo. Look at him this season. Back to his role player. I mean, he was a role player last season, but back to his 8 points per game on patch, on decent shooting, what he's been his whole career. But you got to give Tom Thibodeau that credit. He's been able to max out as much players as he possibly can, and that is why I respect him. Now, but Thibs has never maxed out the ceiling of a team. Look at the team with the Wolves, the Bulls. Derrick Rose won that MVP. Never maxed out the ceiling with Derrick Rose, and this is why Derrick Rose is ringless. Not exactly because of Thibodeau. I mean, there's always other things, but you look at the coach. And also his time in Minnesota, and just that whole breakdown of that with Jimmy Butler and Carly Towns and Andrew Wiggins. You see all that breakdown, but he's never been able to max out a championship winning team, which is why you make that move here to Leon Rose. You're like, okay, let's give him a chance. Let's make him prove that he could. Let's give him a chance to prove that stuff wrong. Because sometimes coaches can be like, you could talk one day about how they can't max it out, but the next day they're winning the NBA championship. So Leon Rose gave him a chance, and he didn't do it. Again, he did make the Eastern Conference Finals. That's where you had the debate of he could win 2 more games. Now he's back in the promised land. Now he's back in the land that he's never been in. So you can make that debate. That is why there's debates. But I think at the end of the day, it's a good move because it's not risky when you look at the history of Tom Thibodeau and how he has not been able to max out his teams, max his ceiling. But again, you give respect to him. And you also, that's why it's risky. I mean, you know what he's going to give you. He's going to give you a good basketball team on the floor every night. He's going to give you a respectable basketball team, a serious basketball team. I mean, look what the Knicks were before Tom Thibodeau, an unserious basketball team. An unserious defensive team. I mean, the Knicks were an unserious defensive team in the playoffs against Pacers, but Pacers are amazing. Let's not shy away from that. But, offensively, the Knicks just never had those players, but Tom Thibodeau came in and really made this team a serious basketball team. Really made MSG a serious place. I mean, they was always a serious, but he's made New York a serious basketball team. With the help of Jalen Brunson, of course, being the king of New York, but, lucking into that one where you sign him, but other players coming along the line, like Isaiah Hartenstein, right? Yes, you've gotten that luck, but Tom Thibodeau's been able to put it all together and make this team a serious basketball team. Got to give him credit there. But again, his stubbornness of only playing 7 to 8 guys kills him. Because when you come playoff time, and also come playoff time, then you have to throw darts to the board, which I get it. Adjustments. Tom Thibodeau made adjustments playing Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright. But the reason is it doesn't work. I mean, shout out to DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet for not playing the whole entire season and then being ready to play. But sometimes that doesn't happen. When you don't play guys in the regular season, they aren't ready. Especially if you want to throw them into a series against the Pacers or an Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. They aren't ready. That's why you need to develop your bench players. Again, you don't need to play them 45 minutes. Again, you could play them 10 to 12 in the regular season, but you got to get them ready for times where you need the depth in the playoffs when you're getting to the later stages, which is why I don't think Thibodeau has ever been able to max out his ceiling, because when you get later into the playoffs, you need depth because your stars are playing more games than they played more minutes than they ever have because they're getting closer and they're getting closer and farther and farther in that season. So stars getting tired, all of that stuff. That's why Thibodeau's able to max out ceiling, and he's a stubborn guy. He's not going to play more than those players, and 7 to 8 guys. And you know what? You could be, and you know what? The other side, you can make the debate of why would he? Why would he play more than 7 to 8 guys? Why would he trust Landry Shamet? You know what? That's fine. If you think that, I think that's okay. But I think at the end of the day, you have to believe those guys Because you see what the Pacers are doing with playing Thomas Bryant, Tony Bradley. You can't put Landry Shamet out there for 78 minutes. Are you serious? So play more guys. That's what they've been saying, and it helps everybody if you play more guys. But Thibodeau's always been that stubborn player, which is why he hasn't been able to max out his ceiling. One of the reasons why, not the exact reason why. Knicks are in a championship window, and Leon Rose, I think I trust him more than any executive in New York. Just the way he's been able to be, he's seen a window, and he's aggressively ran right through it. And firing Thibodeau and saying we're a championship level team is a big bowler move. It's a big bowler move. It's a move that isn't a safe one. The safe one is being like, we can bring back Thibodeau. It's fine. No one will look at anything. No one will bat an eye. We can run it back. But he's like, we have a window. We got to bust right through it, especially with Tatum out for the season. Maybe not the season, but, out for a long time with the Achilles injury. The Celtics are kind of neutralized. Whatever they do, they could trade for Giannis. I've seen crazier stuff, but, with the East really being what's really being a Knicks versus Indy East. The other teams can come for the ride, but Knicks have an easy way to walk through the conference, but they've got to really lock in and be a team that can be a championship contender. And if he doesn't think that Thibodeau's the guy, that's a big baller move. Being like, we need a coach that could take us over the hump, because this wasn't a safe move. But I think it's the right and aggressive one. It's not desperate, but it's aggressive, and I like it. Because Leon Rose has been a guy that I cannot sit up here and hate on, because he's shown me that he's just the right guy to be in the chair making those moves. I mean, there's nothing else to tell me that he's been the wrong guy. I trust the heck out of the guy. I know Thibodeau's been a guy that always been respected of turnaround, but goddamn, I mean, Leon Rose is a big reason why this team has turned around. The bringing in of Jalen Brunson, the bargain of a contract he got first from Jalen Brunson. I mean, the second time gotten up the contract, it's been the team-friendly deal, which Jalen has taken the pay cut. But bringing in Isaiah Hartenstein, hell of a deal for him, taking that on. Trading away R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly for OG Anunoby, bringing a defensive guy that Thibodeau always wanted, and you bring in OG, not just Thibodeau. I mean, it's a defense player everybody needs in OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby is an amazing player. You're bringing in Mikal Bridges, as much as you don't think the move is great, but it's an aggressive move, and it could be the right one. And we'll talk about later about a new coach unlocking players like Mikal Bridges, trading Julius Randle for Karl-Anthony Towns. Again, that cannot be a right move, but that's aggressive. And I like that he's been aggressive, not desperate. And we'll talk about those Kevin Durant rumors and Giannis Antetokounmpo, where I think that's a little bit more desperate. And I don't think that's the way Leon Rose operates. I think it's just smokescreen, because the way Leon Rose operates, he's going to be aggressive, but he's damn sure not going to be desperate, because he knows what he has. That's why I trust him. And, today NBA is about depth and flexibility, and he understands that. So that is why you get rid of Thibodeau, who's going to be stuck in his own ways. And, you shout him out, you give him a hand, but modern NBA is not built for him, in my opinion. The way the NBA has been going on, you could talk about teams like the Thunder and Pacers, who are in the NBA Finals, and they run with depth and flexibility. And, they run with depth and flexibility, and the Knicks don't really have that right now. And, they might have it personnel-wise, but they don't have a coach that's going to unlock that. Until they get one, I mean, and if they were going to run it back, they wouldn't have that coach. So then maybe they'd fall short again, because, again, as I say, the NBA, I know it's always star-driven, and Mr. Frank Aranio always says the NBA is about star-driven, but I think that it's kind of changed. You still need a star, always. I mean, the Knicks have Jalen Brunson, Pacers have Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, the OKC Thunder have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, amazing star, amazing superstar, but you need to have players around him, and the Knicks, and I mean, you need to have those 7th, 8th, the 9th, the 10th guys that you can play, because, I mean, they're going to get tired if you get later in the season and later into the playoffs. They're going to get tired, so you need those 7th, 8th, 10th, 9th, 10th guys. And you know what? The Knicks might have that guy in Landry Shamet, but they haven't played the guy. So you look at the Thunder, where they're playing 7, 8 to 9 to 10 guys, and they're the teams winning, because they can put out 7, 8 to 9 guys, and the coach has trust of 7, 8, and 9 guys. And Thibodeau just doesn't. So that is why you get rid of a guy like that, because you see how the NBA is moving. And Leon Rose, smartest executive, one of the most trusted executives, in my opinion, in the sport. I trust him when I think he knows what the NBA is turning into. That is why you get rid of Tom Thibodeau. Knicks can't get caught being unprepared, and that's can't be caught being unprepared by Indiana next season by not playing those depth players. Indiana exposes the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau because Tom Thibodeau is unprepared in playing those 9 to 10 players, and the Pacers are going to play those players, and you're going to get gassed out because you're only playing 7, 8 to 9 to 10 guys, and Jalen Brunson's playing 48 minutes a game. That's not sustainable, and you're going to be unprepared again, and they're going to beat you in 5 to 6 games again because they're going to run you out the building. And especially if the series goes to 7, you're going to be unprepared because then you push everything up, and you cannot. That's not sustainable. Playing 7 to 8 players a game is not sustainable. It just isn't. And you can see that by the whole entire NBA and the way the NBA is shifting now. If Leon gets his hire right, again, if he gets this is why it's aggressive move. It's not a desperate move, but he needs to get it right. That's why it's aggressive. I mean, it's not aggressive. It's aggressive. That's why it's aggressive, because he needs to get this hire right. And we'll talk about the hiring, Jason Kidd, Ime Udoka, even been some stuff about Chris Finch, Johnny Bryant. He needs to get this hire right. But if he does, it's a championship caliber move. If he doesn't, he could be updating his resume on Indeed. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But this is a aggressive, risky move. It's not a desperate one. It's not the one the Knicks have been making for the last 10 years, where you're like, we're gonna go out and we're gonna build the big three of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Zion Williamson. This is not that type of move. This is a move that's aggressive. It's a championship contending move. This doesn't kill your assets. This is a move that is high risk, high reward. And with the NBA and the CBA, which is making your championship window closing, Leon sees that window kind of open for the Knicks and closing with, how much Jalen Brunson is getting up in age. We talk about it, but he's getting to 27, 28, 29. Same with Cat. We don't know how much he'll do with a big guy, and Jalen Brunson. We don't know how much he'll be with a short guard. We don't know how much he'll be good for or be a sustainable superstar for. So you see that window, it's closing, but you've got to take advantage of that. And the Knicks are gonna, and the Knicks think that it's getting rid of Tom Thibodeau, and I agree with that. I think there's been history to back this move. Warriors firing Mark Jackson, a guy that is more traditional. They bring in a head coach and Steve Kerr that can really unlock an offense. Again, the Knicks are not the Golden State Warriors. This team has flaws. I think they're a championship getting team. I think the Knicks are. But they're going to have to get a coach that can unlock them. And again, Steve Kerr unlocked the Warriors. Again, the Raptors firing Dwayne Casey, hiring Nick Nurse. Bang. There we go. The Cavs. This is not even LeBron James. Knicks don't have anybody like LeBron. But again, there's been examples of moves like this. They are risky, but they have raised the ceiling of those teams. But they raise the ceiling of the team, and those pay off. So the big word of the day is the Knicks ceiling. If they can raise that ceiling by bringing in a new coach and they think they can do it, I trust Leon Rose. I trust what he will do, and I trust that he's one of the most trusted executives in the league. And he will find a way to get his coach, and he'll find a way to get some guys around that coach, and he'll find a way to, even if he brings back the same roster, he'll find a way, or the new coach will find a way to make this team up to the next step, even if it isn't, the most complete roster with holes and Brunson and Cat's defense. That new coach will find a way. And I think damn sure Leon Rose is looking around being like, we got 2 bad defenders. Can we get a coach that will really hide that and still make our offense better and make our offense more modern? Because sometimes modern is the right way. Getting modern is the right way. By getting modern, you really have your offense better. But you also definitely need a coach that can still defend. Defensive coach. Not like Thibodeau, but you still need a defensive coach that will kind of hide the weaknesses of Jalen Brunson calling the downs. That's why I trust this coaching search by Leon Rose, and I stay tuned because getting Jason Kidd, making him make the decisions is a hard decision by him, which is why the Knicks aren't going to make a coaching change the next hour because not Steve Kerr, because Jason Kidd still needs to make the decision of does he want to leave the Mavericks, does he want to take this coaching interview, does he want to even take the job of the Knicks? Because this is a big time job. It's a big time risky job. If you don't succeed, you're going to be unemployed because this is a job that if you do not succeed, and succeeding is making the finals. That's what succeeding is for this Knicks job. That is why it's going to be a risky job to take on. If you don't succeed and you don't make the NBA finals, you could be unemployed. It's crazy, but that could happen. But again, on the flip side, there's some pros if you're walking into a situation that's very good. You're walking into your superstar player being a guy that will trust you. So that's just the conundrum the Knicks and Leon Rose need to figure out, and that I trust Leon Rose. So have a nice day. Peace out, and let's go Knicks.